Massive Week 17 game here with major playoff implications on the line. Essentially, the first round of the playoff for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they fly out to the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams are at 8-7. Both teams are in the thick of the wild card hunt. Steelers are actually on the outside looking in, while the Seahawks currently hold the 7th seed in the NFC wild card here. We're going to break down this game, but before we do that, help us reach our goal of 2,333 subscribers by liking this video and then also subscribing to the channel as well, so you can see all of our content. Is the easiest way. Ryan, this game here, major matchup for both these teams here. Very unique season for both the Steelers and the Seahawks here. Both teams definitely have not met the expectations set from last year's season as well. Just with how the Steelers ended the season, almost make the playoffs and being the team that you did not want to play, similar to the Lions. Well, the Seahawks obviously had a dream season by Geno Smith, has come back down to earth a little bit as well. What are your overall thoughts on both these teams or seasons so far and the objectives for both teams to be victorious this week?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers have underperformed a lot of people's expectations. But honestly, I really feel like the Seahawks are right where they were last year. I just think everybody expected them to be so bad last year that when they were in playoff contention at this point in the season, which they still are in the NFC, that they it was a surprise. And this year everyone expected them to be in playoff contention, and they still they're right where they were last year. So I don't think that they're as disappointing in my eyes, because I didn't think that they made a ton of improvements to get better. I mean, obviously Tariq Woolen, you expect them to get better. Draymond Jones was the big addition on the defense, and they go out and get Devon Witherspoon, and so I think people expected this defense to really be a whole lot better. But this offense, they've had a couple bad injuries at tackle. Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross both missed a big chunk of this season. And that, I think, held this offense back a little bit. But they're still in playoff contention. They're kind of right where they were last year. And so I think that's why people think they're disappointing, is just because there's not a big change from one year to the next. And so, but to be fair, that was a huge win on Monday Night Football for the Seahawks against the Eagles. Or was it Monday or Thursday?
That was a Monday night game in Week 15. They're coming off a victory against the Tennessee Titans.
And then they really, to me, like, this offense has really come on as of late. They kind of stalled out there in the middle of the season, and then you go look at that Dallas game, which was a Thursday night game. And that offense just exploded. DK Metcalf, I mean, I think 10 catches, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba with the big touchdown catch over the Eagles on Monday night to seal that victory. And they've just really done a good job of kind of spreading the ball around to their weapons. I do believe Abraham Lucas was back for the Monday night game, which did help them with that Eagles pass rush. And then a little bit closer of a victory than you would have liked, I think, against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans actually led, I think, for the majority of that game. But it was on the road. Tennessee can be a tough place to play. And that offense with Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, they do have some weapons. And Mike Vrabel always has that defense, especially that front seven, ready to go. So that, I think they're always going to be a tough out as long as Mike Vrabel is there. So still some good performances that they've been able to string back to back. And with the Steelers on the flip side, they've had some really bad performances. You look at the 3 losses in a row to Arizona, New England, and Indianapolis. They just got manhandled. All 3 of those teams, whether Kyler Murray had a big air attack against them, the Patriots and the Colts ran the ball pretty much all over them. And I say that Zappe did throw 3 touchdowns, but the big thing was that New England was able to control the game with the running game in that matchup. And they came out against the Bengals though and just said, screw all that, we're going to play football. Mason Rudolph had a fantastic game, and I'm going to say George Pickens was a big part of that. Slightly jokingly, because he had 4 catches for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns, which was just a crazy stat line. But people joke that diva receivers are really bad, but when they do that for your team, it's pretty hard to lose. And so, yeah, to me, I think it's just if the Steelers can keep it up, that's a division opponent that they know really well. Can they go into an NFC opponent that they see once every 3 years and put up the same performance? So
yeah. Now, the Steelers are definitely trying to do their best Browns impersonation this season with try to win with your third string quarterback with all the injuries that they've been struggling with, and kind of defenses trying to win this game. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing is which defensive front is going to be able to provide the most pressure against a middling to weak offensive line. Abraham Lucas is back in the offense as well as Charles Cross. But the interior, though, to me is where the Seahawks have struggled significantly. Is that's where you have T.J. Watt, like their best, going up against the Seahawks' best in both their tackles, which they're both good. But interior-wise for that offensive line, they struggle. But also at the same time, though, as well, the Steelers' offensive line is by no means good at all this year either. And the Seahawks are actually both teams are up there in overall sacks on the defense. Actually, Seahawks have 45, while the Steelers have 42 sacks. And then actually sacks allowed as well. Both teams are a little bit above average. The Seahawks have only given up 37, while the Steelers have only given up 32. But in general, though, the Steelers' offense has just been inconsistent. And so, to your point, let's see, can Mason Rudolph, who I believe I just did get a confirmation that Mike Tomlin said he's going to start in Week 17, can he continue that type of performance of just leading this offense, just being the game manager, being the consistent guy, going up against a good Seattle secondary, and then also a solid defensive front for Seattle as well. It's just going to be whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. I know that's such an obvious statement to say, especially in today's day and age. It's like a team that makes less turnovers is going to be the one that wins the game. And I just feel the Steelers' offense is not explosive enough or consistent enough to where if they make a couple of turnovers, it's going to be tough for them, I think, to kind of hold off this Seahawks offense, which does have some explosive capabilities, as we've seen over these past couple of weeks. But then at the same time as well, if they give up a couple turnovers and then they allow T.J. Watt to just kind of keep pressuring Geno Smith, it's going to be tough for them, I believe, to go and score. I would say offensively as well, both teams, Steelers have improved in the running game. The Seahawks have not. They're one of the worst running teams in the league. I think a lot of that does have to do with their offensive line struggles. So probably two obvious things here, as I mentioned, turnovers, but then whoever controls the trenches, whichever offensive lines and defensive line play better, that's going to be the one that wins this game here. And it's going to be in an absolutely crazy environment in Seattle on New Year's Eve. It's going to be loud. It will be very loud and probably wet and rainy as well. So it's going to be a phenomenal game, though. It's going to be fun to watch. Let's get into our predictions here. But as I said earlier, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, help us reach our goal. We're about 80 or so away. So we are almost there. With your help, it's greatly appreciated. Ryan, who do you have winning this game?
So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I just feel like they've been on a bigger hot streak lately. I think a lot of the Steelers' production, even in that Bengals game, was contributed a lot to by George Pickens, and just he had two really big explosive plays that led to both were either an actual touchdown or led to a touchdown in the first half of that game. And then Cincinnati just got behind and they made some really stupid mistakes. Like Cincinnati was in the red zone twice and didn't come away with points in the first half. And that, to me, I don't think Seattle's going to do that. I just think that Seattle's going to be the better team here. So
I like it. I'm down in our overall season-long performance, so I am going to have to go with Pittsburgh here if I want any shot. Also, too, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. If he wins this game, he can guarantee that again. And also, too, they know they're going to be playing against the Ravens in Week 18, so they're really going to want to win this one. They want to keep their playoff hopes alive. This game could go either way. I think everything. I agree with everything that you just said there. And then at the same time, I can see the Seahawks blowing this one, and Geno Smith maybe doesn't have the best performance here. They go to 8-8. Then they are playing the Cardinals, I believe, in Week 18, so there's still a little bit of hope there as well. This is a desperation game for both teams, but Pittsburgh definitely feels more desperate because they're on the outside looking in, and they're playing the Ravens in Week 18. So I think they're going to just try and find a way to win this game. I kind of hate that argument here, but I can see this being another like Jackson Smith-Njigba last-second touchdown type victory for the Seahawks as well, or George Pickens, vice versa. So it's going to be a phenomenal one. It's going to be a good game to watch here, especially with Cincinnati and Kansas City going on at the same time. Both of those teams will be playing and watching the scoreboards as well. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this one, and I'll disagree with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, this game really could go either way. I do just like Seattle at home, but I think it's going to be a really close game. And I'm looking forward to it. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. We're disagreeing on this one. You're taking the Steelers. I'm taking the Seahawks. Go ahead and like and subscribe and help Tom and I reach our goal of getting to 2,333 subscribers. And while you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Will it be the Seattle Seahawks? On that, we'll see you guys next time.